Hi y'all, it's Kimberly here. Thank you all for showing up again. Well, I have a little coronavirus update for the little small town I'm in. Today, well actually last night, I work nights. Last night they told us that we weren't working tonight. So I actually have a 3-day weekend, which is good. I was really tired. But the reason we're doing that is because we supply parts. We make parts for trucking industries and other things. It's a plastics company. And the explanation they gave was one of the people or companies that we supply parts to has shut down for a few weeks, and they won't need they're not going to be able to fill certain contracts, so the night shift is the one that was cut. First and second will be working, they work today. Tomorrow will be Saturday, and Sunday they'll have their regular days off. Which, I hope that my job holds out, and I feel so fortunate that I get to keep my job. And I don't know how people, for those of you who aren't working, I don't know how you do it, and I don't know how. I don't know how I would do it if I didn't get that stimulus check, the $1,200 check. I feel for y'all. I don't know how y'all do it. I just don't know. And something has to be done because it's just financially, this is a disaster. And I just feel for the people who can't, if you're not working. And it makes me a little emotional. I don't even know what to say. I'm not in that position, and I'm on the edge of, seeing it, and I'm nervous about it, but I really don't know how. I don't know how you feel, and I don't know how you do it. All I feel is dread and a little bit of fear, that hopefully my job holds out. That's the only thing I can just keep positive hope, for that, and hoping that things will get better. And I had reported before that in the little small town that I live in, that we didn't have any coronavirus cases, but I was wrong. Unbeknownst to me, we do have several, actually like about a dozen, a little more than a dozen maybe. And it was it started at 2 different nursing homes, and I used to work at one. I don't work there anymore. And a nurse, oops, I try not to touch my mic. A nurse had come in from the bigger city close by and was working at both nursing homes, doing PRN work, I believe. Because this is a small town, so a lot of the nurses and, I guess CNAs, the nurse aides, they do come from the bigger cities. Some of them do live here, but there's, that's a hard job. It's such a stressful, hard job, and so there's a lot of turnover in that industry, and they do have to travel back and forth from that other city sometimes. And that's where it started, in this little small town, and it was not being publicized, but somehow, I don't remember, somebody figured it out online through some not so open reporting, I guess. I don't know. Somehow somebody figured it out, and they've been telling everybody. But there's still no entertainment venues open, but there's still the drive-thrus in the restaurants, and the grocery stores open, the little gas stations are open. If you want something, well, we always have to go to Walmart or some part of the bigger city to get a lot of other items. We do have basic, you can survive here in this town, but it's a little boring, And there's no lockdown, really. It's just certain businesses are closed, We can go anywhere and do whatever we want, pretty much. And everybody's been, I'm amazed in the grocery store. People are actually doing the social distancing and standing far away from each other everywhere you go. So, I'm sure that's going to help. I'm amazed, how people are complying with it. And they're really taking it serious. And the stimulus check that we're going to get, they're voting on to give to us. Which, I mean, I don't see how this country can do without some kind of financial assistance to these people that are out of work. I can't remember. It was like 25 or 24, 26 million something people that are filing for unemployment. I think like last week or last month, month, I don't know. I don't remember. It was just such a mind-boggling amount. And the packages that are being presented to the House probably within the next week or two. I think Congress is out until the 4th or 5th of May. And then they'll start deciding on, which one. Since we have a Democrat House, they're going to push it through pretty fast. Then it's got to go to the Senate, which there's a lot of Republican resistance to that. So there's going to be a lot of wasted time and people arguing about whether or not we need such and such money. And this is really not the time for them to be doing that. I hope it goes quickly. And there's a couple of packages that I think there's one with the $2,000 per month for 6 months, and then it will be restarted again for another 6 months if it's necessary. Then there's another package that has something to do with the rent relief. Either you won't have to pay rent, or there's some portion of your rent that'll be paid, or something like that. Then there's another package, which I really don't think this is going to get pushed through at all, because it's very wide open, just very no restrictions practically. Everybody's supposed to get it, no matter how much money you make, whether you're a resident or even if you're an illegal, if you're undocumented, and you just sign a promissory, some kind of, I don't know, declaration or something that you are a citizen, is what I've heard. I have no real understanding. All I've heard is just some things that I've heard through other reports, and that it would include, I believe, the $2,000 per month for like the first year, and then for a year after, when the lockdown has been raised and all businesses are open, from that point, for a whole year, you're supposed to get $1,000. And this is being presented by a group of, I don't remember her name, a Democrat in the House, a little group that have put this together. And it's got a lot of other components to it, which I really just don't see that passing the Republican Senate. I just don't see them just wanting to give, free money to people who are undocumented. That's just not going to happen. I don't believe it's going to. I think it's going to die on the floor as soon as it hits the Senate. Even if it did get passed through the House, which I really kind of don't believe it would be passed through that, because there's no regulation. After hearing a lot of the components of that proposal, I just don't think. I think probably the first one would probably be passed, or maybe I don't know, a mixture of both the first and the second with the rent payment. But the thing with the rent payment proposal, that rent money would go to people who already have assets, people who own houses, people who own apartment buildings, people who own condos. It would go to landlords. And it didn't say anything about whether or not you would get any money along with the free rent. It did say something about food programs. I don't know what they were talking about, if it was an extension of food stamps or something, some kind of program like that for food, and some other kind of assistance. I can't remember what it was. But I think that one would be, there could be a lot of fraud or too much. It was supposed to be kind of like on the honor system for the people who own these apartments and houses that are going to be reimbursed for the free rent. I think that there's too much potential for fraud and people, possibly collusion between tenant and landlord, depending on how much money they would get. They could hike up the rent. They could say the rent is X amount of dollars, and I don't really know all the components of that, but it just sounds like, you're giving money to too many people who would have too much assets to begin with. And I know they are a business. When you own rental houses and apartments, you are making money. You are a business, essentially. You're collecting rent. But I don't think that's a good idea. I just think that giving money to each individual, letting them pay their rent and pay their bills, I think that's the most effective and the best way for people to try to get above, get their head above water in this mess, instead of giving rent payments to people, like I said, who already have assets, owning houses and apartment buildings, stuff like that. I don't think that that's I just don't like it. I think the first one, give people money, let them decide, what bills they want to pay, because even if you did get free rent, you still have to pay gas for your car, repairs for your car. You got to go to work if you have a job. And if the economy gets better and people start getting jobs, they're going to have to pay for a lot of things, car insurance and other bills. So, there's got to be some kind of package that involves money, not just free rent, because just because your rent is paid, you may not have a job. You may not have access to a car. You may have to actually buy a car or get better transportation to go to a job that's farther away from where the area that you were working in. There's no telling what businesses will be open or who's hiring or what. And I think just the money itself is probably the best plan for me, in my opinion. That's what I believe. Go Yankees! Well, I hope everything gets better for everybody, and I don't know how people are doing it. I mean, I just really feel for the people that are struggling, and I just hope things get better. And to Trump, yes, alcohol will kill a lot of diseases, a lot of viruses. It kills AIDS. It kills it kills so many diseases and viruses and bacteria. It just kills a lot of things. But you can't shoot the human body full of alcohol. I think that would be basic biology that most people would know. Drinking it alone can kill you, slowly kill you, liver disease and stuff like that. But no, you can't shoot up a human body with alcohol. Okay. Well, thank you for showing up, and I appreciate all the subscribers. I think I got a few more subscribers. Thank you so much. And I'm going to probably post another video tonight. It might be a scary story time, or spooky, scary kind of story time. Hope y'all enjoy it. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you.